He's not perfect. Mistakes, he's made more than a few. But the numbers are undeniable. The most hits, games, at-bats, singles, and outs. You couldn't write a baseball history book, and maybe not even an American history book, without the name Pete Rose. He is tonight's Cardinal Buick Sunday Conversation. And joining us on Sports Plus is Pete Rose. Pete, happy 80th birthday, first of all. And secondly, I know you hit 325 at age 40. If I give you 10 fastballs at 60 miles an hour, how many line drives can you hit at age 80?
You know, baseball is not a game for an old guy, although I did lead the league in hits when I was 40 years old. So, it's something I did for a lot of years, actually 24 as a player and 4.5 as a manager. So I spent, over a third of my life in baseball.
Pete, one of the great untold stories in baseball history, particularly the Cardinals and you, is after the 1978 season, where the Cardinals were 24 games under 500, and their future Hall of Fame outfielder Lou Brock was coming off a bad season. August Busch really went after Pete Rose and wanted you to be a Cardinal. How close were you to coming to St. Louis?
Well, if I had to do overall again, I'd went to the Cardinals because he offered me a Budweiser distributorship. What would that be worth today? But there again, I like the Cardinal. I like the Cardinal organization. But I didn't want to replace Lou Brock. You know what I mean? Because Lou Brock's a household name in the St. Louis area, and he was retiring, and they want me to come in and replace Lou Brock, and I wasn't really ready to do that. And I had offers from the Atlanta Braves, the Cardinals, of course. I went to the Phillies because that was the best team that I could see as far as the future was concerned. And it worked because I went there 5 years and went to 2 World Series and won a World Series for the first time in 86 years. So it worked out okay for me. But as I sit here and talk to you, I wish I had that Budweiser distributorship.
So he put the full court press on you.
Yeah, he was a great guy. I mean, other than Cincinnati, I got the utmost respect for the St. Louis Cardinal organization. They're a first-class organization. They teach the young players how to play, and they seem to always be competitive. The Cardinals, no matter what year it is, always seem to have good players that are competitive players, and I really like that about the Cardinals. Because don't forget, I played against them for a lot of years before I become a free agent.
How would you describe your relationship with Stan the Man Musial?
Well, don't forget, when I was a rookie, in Stan's last game, Stan's last at bat, everybody knew it was his last at bat at Old Busch Stadium. And he got a hit to my left on playing second base. Right fielder threw it into me. I took it over, and I presented Stan with hit number 3630. And then, of course, when I broke his record, he came out of the audience or the stands in Philadelphia and congratulated me. Stan Musial, one of the top 5 players in the history of baseball. You look at his record, it's amazing. He was just a really, really good hitter and a really, really, really great guy.
Also in that 1963 rookie season, you're playing second base, and Bob Gibson hits a double. It's your first real encounter with Gibson, and you were kind of surprised he really wouldn't talk to you.
Yeah, I went over. I said, "What'd you hit, Gibby? A slider?" And he just was like this with his hands on his knees and didn't say anything. And I asked him again. He said the same thing. So the inning was over. I went into my manager, Fred Hutchinson, and I said, "Skipper, let me ask you a question. Is Bob Gibson a deaf mute?" He said, "Why?" I said, "Because I talked to him 2 or 3 times. He didn't answer me." He said, "Oh, no, he don't talk to the opposition." So the next day we're taking batting practice. I'm watching Brock and Dick Rote and Bill White and Kurt Floyd take batting practice. And Gibby walked out of the dugout and he walked by me and he said it was a slider, Rook. So it took him 24 hours, but he did talk to me. And every event I used to do with Gibby after that, he would never stop talking.
Your memory is legendary. You faced Gibson 114 times. Do you know what you hit against him?
307.
Absolutely. Yep. You were 35 of 114. We're a little prejudiced in St. Louis. We believe that Albert Pujols is the greatest right-handed hitter of all time. What do you think?
St. Louis always has great players, but they have great people. Albert Pujols is one of the best players as far as being a a good guy to know in baseball. And I root for him every night, and he can still hit. He might go down as the greatest right-hand hitter.
Pete, we have a third baseman now in Nolan Arenado who shares the same joy of the game that you once had. I'm wondering, when you watch Arenado play, what do you think?
Oh, that guy can hit. I mean, I know he played his whole career in Colorado, and you lose a little thunder because of that. But that guy can hit. I mean, he can tone. He'll get hot this year at St. Louis, and St. Louis will get hot because Arenado can carry a team. I like to watch him play.
Reggie Jackson once said that hitting a baseball is better than sex. What's your reaction to that?
Well, I don't know if I go to bed with a bat in my hand. I have to ask Reggie about that because Reggie's my buddy. You know, Reggie told me one time, he says, let me tell you something, Charlie. He called me Charlie. He said, every time I step into the batter's box, there was a man in scoring position. I like that.
Do you think about the Hall of Fame now?
No, I don't think about it at all. I'm in the Hall of Fame in Cincinnati. I got a statue at the ballpark, and I got my number retired. And don't forget, I was born 3 miles from the ballpark in Cincinnati. So that means a lot to me because I'm a hometown kid.
Yeah, when you do look back on your career, what would you want somebody to say about Pete Rose?
I was the biggest winner in the history of sports because I am.